At that time, we should keep the peace of Beijing. We don't need restlessness.
The dissidents, and are they heroes at all with the students today?
I don't think so.
On another campus where we were allowed, the democracy movement has taken a back seat.
We seldom talk about those now. We just live our lives and search our money.
Here it's called the Chinese dream. A good job, nice clothes, a car, maybe a cell phone.
What kind of jobs do most of you want? Teaching jobs, government jobs, doing good jobs, making money jobs?
Making money jobs.
Making money jobs, yes.
Making money jobs.
These are crucial times for China. With paramount leader Deng Xiaoping in very fragile health, Chinese officials hope a combination of economic expansion and political repression will hold this huge country together. Lucky Severson, NBC News, Beijing.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, a farewell to the winter that never really was.
Last year, nearly 8 million people had their lives turned upside down by unemployment. Hate to say it, but that's life. We're the first company that allows unemployed clients greater access to their annuity without a penalty. And that can help a lot until things get straightened out. That's New York Life, the company you keep.
While you weren't looking, something magical happened. The durability of an oil-based enamel and the easy cleanup of a latex came together. Hard to believe? Try it and see. Duratex colors enamels from Red Devil for the finish of a lifetime.
So, I suppose you'll be having binge meat up in the spare room for the lambs next.
Oh, with this little fella, I won't have to call the queen me aunt. Sure, having another speaking food. Can I play CDs? Print. And that's without going within a punch or the hole in the wall.
Miss Machinchi must have been behind the door and dead.
And when the video capture capability to make it cat park. It's not the right picture. Ask myself and yourself down occupied way.
She works the night shift for Memorial Hospital. There's no late for work here. No, my car wouldn't start. What does she drive? Skylark. It's sporty and compact. But she drives it because it's a Buick. She depends on it, night after night after night. Skylark. Because there are times when anything less than Buick quality is a shortcut you can't afford to take.
Sunday on Today, from the Madness of King George, Academy Award nominee Nigel Hawthorne. Plus, music off the Acoustic Planet album from guitarist Craig Chiquiso. Sunday on Today.
Finally tonight, could it be that winter is already over and done with? Was that winter? If you heard the dire predictions of the big chill this year and the big storms and prepared for it just like the rest of us did, you'd probably like some answers. Here's NBC's Rahima Ellis.
Across the nation, people expected a harsh winter. That's because last year, from snowbound Boston in the east to frozen Chicago in the Midwest, the nation took a beating, one winter storm after another.
I can't take any more.
This year, people planned for the worst and worried about the dire predictions of various almanacs.
We felt that it was going to be a very, very bad winter. We were telling everybody when February arrives, just plan on staying indoors.
But he was wrong, dead wrong. In fact, it's now official. The winter of 94-95 made it into the record books as the second warmest winter in 100 years. No one expected it. In Chicago last year, only the hardy ventured outside. This year, summer sports were played during the winter. In Buffalo last year, the city was hit with 112 inches of snow. This year, only half that much fell, and it's already gone.
It feels like it's 100 degrees out here.
With spring-like weather in New York this year, the city spent less than $10 million on snow removal. Last year, it was $52 million. Why the difference? That notorious jet stream. Last year, it veered far north and brought freezing Arctic air with it. This year's jet stream followed a more southerly route.
This has kept that cold air up where it originates in central and northern Canada and kept us relatively mild and dry.
Today in Virginia, this children's soccer tournament was held outdoors. Among the proud parents in the stands was Jerry Strassard, the guy who warned everyone to watch out for bad winter weather.
Mother Nature has just played a real number on us this year, something we didn't expect.
And his prediction for this summer? Cooler than it has been. Rahima Ellis, NBC News, New York.
That is NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Giselle Fernandez will be here tomorrow night. I'm Brian Williams in New York, where the present temperature is a pleasant 51 degrees. Good night.
NBC News, now more than ever.
Sunday, the battle over the budget. What should be cut? Who will benefit most? We'll ask Congressman Kasich, Clinton economist Tyson, and Senator Bradley on Meet the Press with Tim Russer, Sunday.
Another bestseller becomes an NBC event. Beautiful Olympic hopefuls are murdered.
Open season on college girls. We've got a real lunatic on our hands.
Two cops taunted by a brilliant killer.
It's a game to him. He gets to make all the rules.
Solving a sick puzzle before he kills again. No! Alex MacArthur, Randy Quaid, Ed McVeigh's 87th Precinct, NBC Sunday.
AT&T, this is Emily.
Emily, listen, my friend Doug told me something that shocked me. He said that he saves on calls to anybody.
That's AT&T True Savings.
Anybody?
Anybody in the U.S.
'Cause I'm not making any circles.
No circles.
And I'm not ratting out my friends.
No circles. Just sign up, make $10 in calls a month, and we'll subtract 25% off your AT&T bill.
Ow!
It's true.
I want it.
AT&T True Savings. Save 25% to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Your true voice.
News Channel 5, your news leader. Being back together, a Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers telethon is brought to you by aluminum roll-up shades and shutters. Don't settle for less. And by Wilson Rowan Locksmith Company, serving the Palm Beaches since 1919. And by Westinghouse Security Systems. You can be sure if it's Westinghouse. Join the effort to combat crime. Tonight, in a Crime Stopper special, see how we all win by fighting back together. Now, live from the WPTV studios, here are Laurel Sauer and Tina Conti.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Channel 5's 1995 Crime Stoppers Telethon. I'm Laurel Sauer, along with Tina Conti, and welcome to a very special program, Fighting Back Together tonight. This is your chance to say, I am sick and tired of crime, and I am going to do something about it.
That's right, and over the next 60 minutes, you're going to see how your friends and neighbors are working to make a difference. You're also going to see what some local police officers are doing, and you're going to see what it's really like to be a cop on the street and all those uncertainties they face as they respond to calls for our help. And of course, they rely on you to help catch the bad guys.
Well, you've also seen some people who've been victims of crime and how they're getting on with their lives. Plus, you'll see who's to blame for a lot of the acts out there that hurt. Things like stolen cars and purse snatchers, things that happen even to people who live in so-called good neighborhoods.
And of course, the best way that you can pitch in is by picking up the phone and pledging your support for Crime Stoppers. Our number here at the studio is 1-800-345-WPTV. Remember that number, you're going to hear it a lot.
Absolutely, Tina. So keep on, get those fingers ready to dial and help us out on this Crime Stoppers Telethon effort this year, Tina.
Well, now, before we go any further, you might be wondering, just how does Crime Stoppers work? Well, first, each Wednesday night, you see a Crime Stoppers reenactment right here on News Channel 5 at 6 o'clock. Oh, there we go, first telephone. But if you know anything about the crime that you've seen or the suspect, you then call Crime Stoppers at the toll-free number that we just gave you, 1-800-345-WPTV. Now, at all times, you do remain anonymous if you do call in a tip, and your tip to Crime Stoppers could also make you eligible for a reward of up to $1,000. Laurel?
Now, to kick off our telethon effort tonight, here's a reenactment for you, one that involves the heartbreaking death of a child, a young girl named Amanda Doherty. Please watch carefully. Maybe you remember a clue that can help solve this case. Little 5-year-old Amanda Doherty vanished from her North Lauderdale home on September 22nd. The smiling youngster was last seen alive when she went to bed that night in her family home. There was no sign of a break-in, so police believe Amanda was taken or left with someone she knew. A massive search was launched by police. It went on for 2 days. Tragically, little Amanda's body was discovered by a jogger near a Palm Beach County canal off Glades Road in Boca Raton. Police say she was strangled. Detectives do say they are running into roadblocks when working on this case since leads are drying up, but they say the biggest problem they have now is focusing in on a motive.
Well, anytime you're dealing with the death of a child, the hardest thing to pinpoint is a motive. And there are very few people that could come up with a legitimate motive for killing a 5-year-old child. And that's been one of our problems in this case, developing a good, clean motive.
Meanwhile, Amanda's family is struggling to deal with the question, why?
I don't know how this person could live with themselves knowing what they did to a child. I mean, there can't be, there's no justification for any child, and the family's really having a hard time dealing with it.
Detectives say they will keep going over the leads in the case, looking for something new to break. Now it's your chance to pledge your support to Crime Stoppers tonight and start fighting back together. Please call the number on your screen, 1-800-345-WPTV, which is 1-800-345-9788. It's an effort that we all are interested in because we all are faced with crime today. Now, one of the people that certainly has a lot to do with Crime Stoppers and apprehending suspects out there is our brand new sheriff, Charles McCutcheon. Welcome, our sheriff of Palm Beach County. He's brand new in the job, and he's certainly not new to the sheriff's office. He's a veteran investigator and kind of a bigwig with the sheriff's department. We are so pleased to have you here and 18 days into the job. Why do you think the effort here in Crime Stoppers is so important?
Laura, you mentioned fighting back together, which was kind of a buzz phrase there that you had, and I think that is so good because it's the epitome of citizen involvement. They can, for a variety of reasons, they don't want to give their names when they call in, and here's a chance for them to get a reward, to remain anonymous. And there are just so many, economically, it's just such a fine program. You know, it's over 13 years now in existence, and they've only spent $130,000 in those 13 years, but they've gotten back almost $14 million in property. So it's just a fantastic program for the people to get involved in, and they can participate and do so much to help crime in Palm Beach County.
So it really is working. What can you say if you had to talk to the camera out there and tell the folks out there who are sitting at home wondering, oh, gee, it's another telethon on the air. They want money. We need the money. We need the effort. It's so important in this Crime Stoppers community to make sure that we're working together. What can you tell the people out there to get them to get off their easy chair and get out there and donate to us?
Well, as I go around and talk to different groups, one of the questions they always ask is, how can I get involved? How can I get involved in helping to fight crime and make Palm Beach County a better place to live? And certainly this is one of the things that I would tell them. Get involved in Crime Stoppers. Make your contribution because you're going to receive a lot of the rewards in return.
So far, so good, huh? 18 days and you're on a telethon as the new sheriff, and everything's going smoothly for you so far in the job.
So far, I'm on my honeymoon. Everybody thinks I'm doing a good job.
That's right. That'll end pretty soon, won't it?
That might change pretty soon.
Welcome, Sheriff, and thank you for joining us on our Crime Stoppers telethon effort tonight. Good luck to you.
Thank you so
Tina?
much.
I think they'll think that for a long time, even after you've been here much longer in the job. Well, so what is it really like for the people who actually go after the criminals? Well, a lot of people think the life of a police officer is glamorous, or maybe even like the shows that we've all seen on television. But of course, the reality can be much different. News Channel 5's Christine Christofek and photojournalist Darren Hensley spent the day with Riviera Beach Police to give you a first-hand view. Take a look.
Good 47 years. Foremost in my mind when I'm suiting up and changing into my uniform that danger is prevalent as soon as I go out on the road. It can happen at any time.
For police officers like Sergeant Cliff Giltman of the Riviera Beach Police Department, every day is a day of uncertainty.
We receive a numerous amount of calls a day in the city of Riviera Beach. They all vary. Well, on my way to a scene, I'm usually thinking about the potential dangers that are lurking against me. Domestic calls are probably the most violent, potentially violent calls that we receive as people do not respond very nicely to strangers in their homes.
And today is no different. The first call of the day, a domestic dispute between a woman and her live-in boyfriend.
She took it down the street on somebody's house. I knew that's where I was just coming from, so I could watch. So I just put her radio in her mama's car. I said, I just want to see how I feel when she go see her missing. Okay. See how I feel. Okay. Their tempers are already flared up. Emotions are very high, and there's very little tolerance for us. Hey, we appreciate your cooperation. I want you to know that, and we appreciate yours. I just wish you guys could work it out.
In this business, no call is simply routine. Even traffic stops are handled with complete caution, and officers are trained to not only protect the public, but protect themselves and each other. When one can't watch his back, the other usually does.
So I'm constantly on caution with people who I encounter out on these calls and the public, you know, the motoring public on traffic stops.
But life on the streets isn't all caution.
Most people are very receptive to the police. Vacations coming up and stuff, spring break? It's just starting right now.
Behind the danger lurks the opportunity to create a solid role model for those who seem to be most impressed by officers in uniform.
Everybody's got to stay in line. And I want you all to make sure that you listen to the teacher.
And today, listening to the words of a 6'1", 215-pound cop may be just what this elementary school student needed when he brought a bag of what appeared to be cocaine to school. But in this case, it was just powder.
Look what it looks like. It looks like drugs. Looks like you're carrying drugs. Are you trying to tell someone that you're carrying drugs? Then why'd you have this on you? That's not good for a little boy like you to be in school with something like this.
Day after day, call after call, when the badge goes on, the men and women in black carry out their commitment to protect and serve. And putting themselves at risk is all part of the package.
And keep the kid in the belt.
In Riviera Beach, Christine Christofek, News Channel 5.
So you can see a good overview of exactly what our police are facing out there on the streets. Folks, we are back in TV5 studios with our 1995 Crime Stoppers Telethon effort, Fighting Back Together, and our phone lines are quiet, folks. Please give us a little. Whatever you can give, it all adds up. The number on your screen, 1-800-345-WPTV. This year, it's a whole lot easier to give. That's right. Guess what? Crime Stoppers is accepting plastic. We are accepting Visa, MasterCard, and even American Express, making it easier and convenient for you to help us out. So please, if it's more convenient for you, you can mail in your contributions. Here's the address, Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County, Post Office Box 6245, West Palm Beach. The zip there is 33405. So any help would be greatly appreciated. Remember, MasterCard, Visa, or American Express. 1995 certainly got off to a rather deadly start. For example, the city of West Palm Beach, the fact of the matter is people are dying on our streets. But as News Channel 5's Matt Cesny explains for us tonight, the violence does not appear to be citywide, but rather is confined to certain neighborhoods.
For homicide detectives in the city of West Palm Beach, 1995 is off to a busy start. So far, the city has averaged over a murder a week.
We're off to a terrible start. And this is very disturbing to the police department, and it should be disturbing to anybody who lives in the area.
The numbers speak for themselves. In January, the city matched a third of all the murders it had last year alone.
In West Palm Beach, like other cities across America, the weapon of choice for murder is a gun. But while authorities can point to one weapon, they can't point to one reason as to why so many murders are taking place.
Drugs, unemployment, frustrations, all sort of come together.
The Reverend Russell Odom is a former West Palm Beach pastor who has seen the violence.
Quality of life for West Palm as a whole has improved, but there are pockets or segments in the city that there is a continued deterioration. And those areas you will find have the highest crime rate.
Those pockets of crime are very familiar to police. From the Riviera Beach line south along streets such as Tamarind and Broadway.
A great deal of it has to start in the community. The people who live in those areas have got to get involved. And if we don't, we're going to continue to lose them.
Our criminal justice system can make a difference. We know that a lot of these crimes are taking place because of drug dealers, in particular, think that they have a free ride. They know how many times we've arrested them. They know how many times that they're back out on the street with very little punishment.
If the trend doesn't change, most agree the city's reputation for murder will keep on rising. In West Palm Beach, Matt Cesney, News Channel 5.
And joining us now live is the Chief of Police in West Palm Beach, Billy Riggs. Now, Chief, I know we did have a rough start to the year, as Matt was just saying in that report, but things do seem to be calming down a little bit. Any idea why it does seem to finally be calming down now?
Well, we can't explain what happened back in January when we had several homicides, many more than we've had in past years for that time frame. It seems to have been an anomaly, something that we really can't explain, nor anyone else. But we've solved several of those homicides already, due in part to citizens calling in, giving us that information.
And I know, in fact, that you did increase patrols in some areas after that. A lot of it was believed to be drug-related. And, of course, a lot of the neighborhoods are safe in the town, and you do have a big police presence. How big of a difference do you think that makes, having such a strong force out there?
Well, I think the visibility of the officers certainly has an impact on reducing some types of violent crimes. We were very fortunate in that the Sheriff's Office allowed us to use 5 of their officers during February to offset all the calls that we were handling in some of the neighborhoods. But what I'd like to stress is if you're not a drug dealer, if you don't buy drugs and you don't get involved in domestic violence, your chances of becoming a victim are slim anywhere. So, you know, I'd like to stress that point.
That's obviously where a lot of your problems are coming from. In some of the so-called deteriorating neighborhoods that you are dealing with, what are some of the things you're doing in those areas to try and clean things up?
In those particular areas, we put community-oriented policing officers. We have a very strong code enforcement visibility there. We're writing a lot of code enforcements. We're trying to take down some of the dilapidated and deteriorated buildings. We're putting absentee landlords on notice that will not tolerate those kinds of living conditions that they have allowed to exist. So there's several things that we're doing to combat that kind of crime in some of our neighborhoods.
And maybe a good point would be the people who do want to see their neighborhoods cleaned up, or perhaps are seeing the domestic violence and the drug problems. They're the kind of people that we would like to have call in tonight, as a matter of fact, and help make a difference, correct?
Some people seem to think that police officers keep neighborhoods safe. Well, we don't. It's the neighborhoods, the people in the neighborhoods who contribute to their own safety, and they have a responsibility. One of those responsibilities is donating or giving funding to support Crime Stoppers. When we put out the notices or the information that we need bits of information, some people, as the sheriff indicated, do call in and want to be anonymous. But the fact is, you've got to call in. You have to call in and help your neighbor and help your neighborhood.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us, Chief.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thanks, Tina and Chief Riggs. Once more, the phone number to call is 1-800-345-WPTV, which is 9788. We need your support. Please give us a call here, folks. There's so much more ahead here on Fighting Back Together, our annual Crime Stoppers Telethon, including a look at kid criminals. But first, perhaps you can help find this week's wanted suspect. Take a look.
Although alarm systems are often an effective deterrent to intruders, response time can range from 4 to 20 minutes, and in most cases, this is too long. Wilson Rowan can prevent breaking and entering with our complete line of high-security hardware. Let Wilson Rowan install a safe in your home or office for the ultimate protection of your valuables. Call Wilson Rowan Locksmith Company at 655-3637. Wilson Rowan, keeping the Palm Beaches safe since 1919.
Campbell's Fiesta soups, like new Fiesta tomato, make it easy to bring a zesty, delicious taste of Mexico right to your table.
What's in these tacos? Campbell's.
Dear Linda, thanks to your letters, we've created a safe glass and surface spray. New Murphy's Kitchen Care. It won't damage any kitchen surface, even painted walls. And it's tough on grease. New Murphy's Kitchen Care, safe on all kitchen surfaces.
Things are happening every day. There's always something new. As I grow, it's good to know I can still turn to you. You are the first place we always try. 'Cause just like us, you have so many sides. Come see the many sides of sea.
I'm Dan Marino, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. But that's just what I do for a living. Who I am in everyday life is much more important. As a husband and a father, nothing is more important to me than the security of my family. When I chose protective shutters for my home, I chose aluminum roll-up shades and shutters. Roll-up offers you solid protection against hurricanes and unwanted intruders. To you, I'm a quarterback. To my family, I'm dad. And that's a job I take seriously. Call Roll-Up today.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Laurel Sauer, and welcome to our Crime Stoppers Telethon, Fighting Back Together tonight. We hope tonight you are learning a little bit about how you can help others and other members of the community in fighting back together against crime. That's all our purpose is tonight, is to raise money in that effort to fight back against crime. The number here is 1-800-345-WPTV, which is 9788. Let's go ahead and check the tote board, see how we're doing so far in this 1995 Crime Stoppers effort with Alicia DeFago. We have $3,816. That's a good start. It is 7:18 right now into the show, so we have another 40 minutes, folks, for you to get out there and give us a call. $1, $5, $10, 50 cents, whatever you can do will help our effort. It all adds up. 1-800-345-WPTV. You know, the juvenile justice system may be its very own worst enemy, and right here in Palm Beach County, a growing number of young repeat offenders are being sent back out on the streets because there is just no room in treatment programs. News Channel 5's Matt Cesney shows you why.
False imprisonment, carjacking.
Judge John L. Phillips read a long list of charges against this unidentified juvenile, a juvenile who's been here before and, along with others, were supposed to get help.
40% of the juveniles before the court today were arrested for allegedly committing serious crimes while waiting to be put in a commitment program.
When it comes to juvenile crime, the programs to help are there, but they're too crowded. It's estimated Palm Beach County has the largest waiting list in the state for juveniles waiting to get into intervention programs. So instead of ending the cycle of crime, some of these juveniles are going out and committing more crimes.
We have not kept up with resources in the last 5 years in Palm Beach County. And of course, there's been one problem after another, not in my backyard, not in my front yard, diseases, but I think this county has come to grips and has formed a collaboration and said, we will give you land for this, we will do that. And I have approached the Secretary just recently on giving us more resources, because our resources versus our commitments are not equitable.
Without more beds at places like halfway houses, officials warn the repeat juvenile offender stands a good chance of becoming the career criminal.
America and our state of Florida has to wake up and recognize we have got to deal with these juveniles as adults, put them in adult courts, and sentence them as they would be as if adults, because we're never going to end the endless amounts of crimes being committed unless we get tough on these kids.
But officials are getting tough with the most violent offenders. The rest usually are left waiting back out on the streets. In West Palm Beach, Matt Cesney, News Channel 5.
Well, thank you, Matt. One juvenile justice official says it may even take as much as $2.5 million to create all of the beds necessary to treat all of the juvenile offenders right here in Palm Beach County. Tina?
Well, Laurel, Crime Stoppers isn't just for adults these days. Kids are also taking bites out of crime on their school campuses. News Channel 5's Tiffany Kenny shows us the success of the Student Crime Stoppers program.
Crime on campus. It is an ugly subject, but one students must face at schools countywide.
Sometimes there's students who just trash the school and do stuff that hurts the school. Well, a lot of it has to do with peer pressure and, you know, it's different things that you do or try to feel cool.
At Boca Raton Middle, kids are trying to change that. Along with 45 other schools, Boca has opened its classrooms to Student Crime Stoppers, a year-old pilot program to help kids take their own bite out of crime.
Well, I think all of us on campus need to take responsibility for the things that are taking place there.
Like the original Crime Stoppers, this student program offers reward money to tipsters who always remain anonymous. Students say it's the perfect way to protect their school.
You have a lot of friends and you get along and you want it to be good, but you don't want it to have like drugs and fights.
Here at Boca Raton Middle School, students have phoned in 10 tips to the Crime Stoppers hotline. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there is a higher crime rate here. What it means, say sheriff officials, is that administrators and students are being proactive in making sure their campus remains safe.
I didn't think really that many people were watching out or anything, but a lot of people, I guess they really do care.
And it's not just students at Boca Middle getting involved. Since the program started, police have logged 125 tips from students countywide, a dozen of which have resulted in arrest or administrative action. The most common crime, drugs, followed by weapons on campus, battery, and theft.
Years ago, I bet you they didn't have people driving up to the schools trying to stuff kids in their vans and everything. And now we have different problems and kids have to watch out for each other. And I think, yes, Crime Stoppers helps.
And the numbers are proof positive. Tiffany Kenny, News Channel 5.
Well, if it can work on the school campuses, of course it can work in our cities too. And tonight we are talking about fighting back together. And that means looking out for each other, not just on school campuses, but of course in our neighborhoods and looking out for each other's homes. Now with us tonight is Sergeant Keith Carson of the Lantana Police Department. I know you deal a lot with the Neighborhood Crime Watch programs. A lot of people are asking though, do these programs really work?
Oh, absolutely. I don't care what city or town you live in or what police agency or sheriff's department patrols your neighborhood. We can't be everywhere. That's why we need the eyes and the ears of the citizens. And a lot of the crimes that we solve and a lot of criminals that are apprehended are as a direct result of calls from concerned citizens and mostly members of Crime Watch groups.
I know it's got to be tough these days. A lot of people don't know their neighbors. We're not as open as we used to be. I know that's true where I live, as a matter of fact. So how do you really get people past that and really get them into the program?
You have a lot, like you said, you have a lot of problem with transient people that rent, they're here today, gone tomorrow, and people working on different schedules. And it just really takes some initiative. Somebody has to take the ball and run with it. Somebody has to go out and knock on some doors, meet your neighbors, get to know them, so that you can share the necessary information and look out for each other when one isn't home and one is at work or somebody's on vacation. Somebody's just got to go out and do it, and that's what it's going to take.
What about for individuals, even if people perhaps are not in a Crime Watch program? What can they do to protect themselves and to burglar-proof and make their own homes safe?
Well, first off, I would obviously like to suggest they do get in a Crime Watch program. Don't wait till you're a victim of a crime. Do it before. Do it proactively, not reactively. But most importantly, they can call probably any of the local police agencies or sheriff's department in Palm Beach County, arrange for a security survey of your home, and some crime prevention information from the department's crime prevention officer.
All right, some good advice, Sergeant Carson. Thank you. Laurel?
Thank you, Tina. Okay, folks, it's getting quiet here in the studios. We need these phones ringing. The number is 1-800-345-WPTV. And now we have some of the many rewarding parts of this program right now. Time to accept checks to back up the Crime Stoppers program. We have a guest here with a check, and tell me who you are.
I'm John Schweiner with Chevron, and I'd like to present a $500 check from the Chevron Corporation.
Fabulous.
And I have another check here which represents checks that have been received by the Palm Beach County Chevron dealers throughout the course of the year.
Wow, that's wonderful.
They've donated well over $700.
Fabulous. You're the man with the money tonight then, huh?
Yes.
What made John Chevron jump into this program? I mean, there's so many things that you could donate your money to, and I'm sure you get hit up at all times of the year for donations. What made you pick Crime Stoppers?
Our stations are located throughout Palm Beach County, and many of them operate on a 24-hour basis. And I felt by joining Crime Stoppers, becoming a part of the community, we would be able to help we have at all of our locations pass a buck contributions. If anybody out there would like to pick some up, we do keep them out there, and ear for the crime and eye for the crime is a real help.
Great, it certainly is. John, thank you for coming in tonight and sharing your money with us. We certainly appreciate the good efforts on your part. Thank you, John. Tina?
Well, we always love it when they share that money. Well, the number for those of you at home who would also like to donate to the Crime Stoppers program, it is 1-800-345-WPTV. And of course, any support that you can give to Crime Stoppers would be of a great help. This program, of course, only works with your help. And still ahead tonight, we're going to find out who is stealing your cars. Plus, a look at which crimes are most common. But first, take a look. Can you help us track down this wanted suspect?
According to the latest U.S. government figures, the chances of a criminal victimizing you or someone in your household are 1 in 4. Don't wait till it's too late. Call 1-800-SMART-20 now, and we'll install our basic security system in your home for only $95. And we'll provide 36 months of monitoring for only $24.95 a month, less than $1 a day. That's 1-800-SMART-20. because you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
This dairy food can be real tough to digest. No problem now, because I take Lactaid first.
Lactaid works naturally to make dairy foods more digestible.
Pardon me, there's no more cheesecake.
Lactaid, for the love of dairy. You may be one of millions who love eating dairy but suffer from gas, bloating, or diarrhea afterwards. Call 1-800-HELP-KIT and get a free test and lactate samples to find out if dairy really is your problem. Also, get a free information booklet and coupons. Call 1-800-HELP-KIT.
I'm Dan Marino, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. But that's just what I do for a living. Who I am in everyday life is much more important. As a husband and a father, nothing is more important to me than the security of my family. When I chose protective shutters for my home, I chose aluminum roll-up shades and shutters. Roll-up offers you solid protection against hurricanes and unwanted intruders. To you, I'm a quarterback. To my family, I'm dad. And that's a job I take seriously. Call Roll-Up today.
Although alarm systems are often an effective deterrent to intruders, response time can range from 4 to 20 minutes, and in most cases, this is too long. Wilson Rowan can prevent breaking and entering with our complete line of high-security hardware. Let Wilson Rowan install a safe in your home or office for the ultimate protection of your valuables. Call Wilson Rowan Locksmith Company at 655-3637. Wilson Rowan, keeping the Palm Beaches safe since 1919.
Welcome back to Fighting Back Together in the TV5 studios. It's your chance to learn all about protecting your home and family, and a great opportunity to show your support for Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers program. The number here is 1-800-345-WPTV.
That's right. Remember that number. Well, on to other stories. Boynton Beach is one of many cities seeing a skyrocketing increase in the number of stolen cars. We found that out just recently. Often the thieves are not even doing time, and you may be surprised to find out they're getting much younger. They're stealing our most prized possessions, and many times they're getting away with it. Teenagers turned car thieves.
Predominantly our problem area is any of the shopping center parking lots located along Congress Avenue.
Lieutenant Chris Yanuzzi of the Boynton Beach Police Department shows us the hot spots for car thefts. The problem is accelerating. In 1994, Boynton Beach received nearly twice as many reports of stolen cars compared to the year before, and youths are often to blame.
Based on the arrest statistics, it would appear that twice as many juveniles than adults are committing these offenses.
In fact, of the suspects police arrested last year, 17 out of 26 were juveniles. Authorities are quick to emphasize it is a statewide problem.
It sort of is becoming a rite of passage for a number of youths.
According to State Attorney's Office spokesman Mike Edmondson, the increase in thefts is related to a decrease in punishment, so teens know they won't face serious charges. Edmondson says due to a lack of prison space, the courts have reduced the penalties for stealing cars both for adults and juveniles. So he says youths may get caught stealing cars 6 or 8 times before they're ever sentenced to any type of detention.
Juvenile sanctions are not sufficient to deal with repeat offenders, particularly repeat offenders that are targeting something like someone's auto.
While many would like to see stiffer punishment for young car thieves, police say in the meantime, people should always take precautions to protect their own personal cars. And while car thefts nearly doubled last year in Boynton Beach, there were actually only 2 additional arrests there compared to the year before. So police obviously looking for any help and information they can get out there. Laurel?
And surprisingly, Tina, auto theft isn't the most common crime around here, but it's close. So which crimes are the most common right here in Palm Beach County? You may be surprised at these numbers from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Number 1 on your screen by a long shot is larceny, followed by burglary, and then car theft. Coming in at number 4 is aggravated assault, followed by robbery, sexual battery, and then homicide.
Well, one man who knows all too well about crime is Maurice Hall. He's an attorney who also became a crime victim. Now, as you may remember, it happened inside a Fort Lauderdale courthouse. Gunshots rang out, and when it was all over, 2 people were dead, and Maurice Hall was clinging to life. Tonight, News Channel 5's Yvonne Marquez brings you the story of this victim's miraculous recovery.
Judge, the only thing I would add to the motion...
It's as if Maurice Hall never left the courtroom. Just 9 months ago, the West Palm Beach attorney nearly died after being shot twice. Police say Julio Mora opened fire during a deposition in Fort Lauderdale. Hall's client died, and so did another West Palm Beach attorney.
Eventually pulled out his 9mm automatic weapon and began firing at the people right across the table from me, and then he shot me.
But the one-time Palm Beach County judge says the suspect wasn't satisfied with just pulling the trigger.
He came after me, and we struggled for the weapon eventually, and I was able to get the weapon from him, and I was bleeding. I mean, just, there was red blood, redder than I had ever seen before.
Maurice Hall is back in court, and although his life has changed tremendously, he says for some reason he finds himself laughing a lot these days. Laughing because he has been given another chance at life, and now he's more sensitive to victims of crime.
Your heart goes out to people who are injured, regardless of how they came to be injured. It's the compassion and sensitivity you have for folks who are hurting.
Maurice says he's come a long way. At first he had nightmares, then he couldn't turn his back on people. But 3 months of psychiatric counseling and his faith in God changed all that. And now he says he's making the most of his life by fulfilling his many dreams. In West Palm Beach, Yvonne Marquez, News Channel 5.
So as you can see, Maurice Hall is one of the lucky ones. From a crime victim to a crime as yet unsolved. Watch this Crime Stoppers reenactment. Perhaps you can help catch a drive-by killer. This drive-by shooting has left police stumped. It was late at night, around 10 o'clock, when the 23-year-old victim, nicknamed Pappy, was walking alone. Carlton Williams stopped as he neared the intersection of Washington Avenue and Douglas Street in Lake Worth. The victim was startled as he saw a car come wheeling around the corner and suddenly come barreling at him. Suddenly, the sound of gunfire. Numerous shots were fired at the victim as he fell to the ground, struck by several bullets. He died later at the hospital. Police say the car was a light-colored, older model, square-back, four-door sedan with dark tinted windows.
I'm Sergeant Pete Ebel of Lakewood Police Department. If you have any information on this or any other crime, please call Crime Stoppers.
Now back here at the TV5 studios, joining us live now is this year's president of the Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers program, Tony Genovese. Tony, we're proud to have you here this evening, and what aspect of the Crime Stoppers program makes you the most proud?
Well, we're most proud of the support that we get from the media, both from the newspapers and from the law enforcement and the citizens that call in to give us the support that we need for Crime Stoppers.
Now, Tony, part of our Crime Stoppers program is we do the fugitive program every week here on TV5 too. We kind of spotlight some fugitives most wanted that we want people to be on the lookout for. Do you think that helps in the overall effort to get these suspects behind bars?
Yes, Laura, it does. We advertise in all the local newspapers, and out of every 5 pictures, we apprehend 2.
Oh, good. That's great.
With 10,000 warrants out there, that really helps us out a lot.
Okay, Tony, thank you for joining us tonight. So, folks, you can see it's working. The number on your screen, 1-800-345-WPTV. Call us. We need your help tonight. Tina?
Well, we sure do, Laurel. As a matter of fact, one of the gentlemen down here on the end is not even sure his telephone's working. He says, please call in. We need the donations. Obviously, crime is a big concern for all of us here, not only in South Florida, but all over. And they say, please call in. The money helps not only to stop crimes in your neighborhood, but all throughout the area. We want to quickly check the tote board here. It's up to $11,000, $11,021 as a matter of fact, and climbing. We'd like you to help raise those numbers for us by the end of the evening. Just so you know, that number is 1-800-345-WPTV. Please call in to Crime Stoppers. We need the money.
All right, Tina, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's halfway through the show, 7:36. We've only got about 25 more minutes, folks, for you to donate to us and help the Crime Stoppers effort. There's much more to come tonight on fighting back against crime, including a look at what's being done to keep shopping malls a little bit safer. We're all interested in that. But first, check out this wanted suspect.
I'm Dan Marino, quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. But that's just what I do for a living. Who I am in everyday life is much more important. As a husband and a father, nothing is more important to me than the security of my family. When I chose protective shutters for my home, I chose aluminum roll-up shades and shutters. Roll-Up offers you solid protection against hurricanes and unwanted intruders. To you, I'm a quarterback. To my family, I'm dad. And that's a job I take seriously. Call Roll-Up today.
Don't look. Hershey's Hugs are getting dressed for Easter. Hugs are mini Hershey's Kisses hugged by white chocolate. Some Hugs have almonds, but they take longer to dress. Hershey's Hugs.
Oh, that cat's got the life. Now she's got this state-of-the-art scoop-away litter that clumps where she wets. They scoop away the clump, bam, the box is fresh and clean. All I get is a rusty hydrant.
Scoop Away, the litter that's day one clean every day.
How would you feel about a hair color with natural ingredients? Well, now here's a first. Introducing Clairol's Natural Instincts, the only hair color with a rare blend of aloe, chamomile, ginseng. In just 10 minutes, hair that looks natural and is actually better conditioned than before you colored it. New Natural Instincts from Clairol.
According to the latest U.S. government figures, the chances of a criminal victimizing you or someone in your household are 1 in 4. Don't wait till it's too late. Call 1-800-SMART-20 now, and we'll install our basic security system in your home for only $95. And we'll provide 36 months of monitoring for only $24.95 a month, less than $1 a day. That's 1-800-SMART-20, because you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Welcome back to Fighting Back Together, your chance to join police and the community in the war against crime. The number here in our TV5 studios tonight, 1-800-345-WPTV. Please call in your donation to help this worthwhile Crime Stoppers program tonight. We have another check presentation to make tonight from Mr. Bruce Anderson. He's a member of our Crime Stoppers board. Bruce, what have you got for us tonight?
First of all, I'd like to give you a check from the Palm Beach County Chapter 2 of Florida Restaurant Association for $500.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
I have another check from the Boynton Beach Sons of Italy, the lodge number 2304 for $250.
Thank you. Every little bit helps, as you well know. Bruce, help me out on the tote board here. Let's take a look at that and see how the numbers are going. Whoops. Move right over here so we can scoot my way. Scoot my way. And tell me what the number is on the screen up there.
11,021. And folks, we need your support. Please call in now. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. You heard it from the man himself, folks. Let's get those numbers ringing here. We want to hear all those phones ringing. 1-800-345-WPTV. Tina.
Well, Laurel, as we all know too well, thieves often like to target the stores and shops where we all buy our favorite merchandise. And it seems that burglars are getting bolder and bolder these days, especially when it comes to so-called smash and grab robberies, where criminals often drive right into the front of businesses to steal the goods. However, some local store owners and politicians are now fighting back, and they're taking steps to put the robbers out of business. Paying customers, full registers, valuable merchandise. 3 reasons thieves shopping around for targets often strike at shopping centers.
Crime in this county is running rampant.
Suburban Boca Raton is one of numerous areas hit hard by recent crime. In the past, police have blamed part of the problem on a crime ring out of Miami.
We're having problems with people coming up from the Liberty City and Metro-Dade area and smashing and grabbing the stores out here.
But store owners there are fighting back. After smash and grab robbers drove right through the front of their athletic store, Lee and Beverly Handress took action. They put up cameras, gates, and other security measures. So when robbers struck again, it helped to slow them down.
There was a doorknob right here, so they must have pounded that off.
When the thieves tried to run off, sheriff's deputies then caught the 6 teens and arrested them. But the businesses still wanted to do more. The Handresses and their fellow store owners joined together then to hire security guards. And Handress says it has made a big difference.
The police can't be everywhere. It's impossible. So the merchants have to, and the landlord have to take care of it if they want to stay in business.
Now, Palm Beach County Commissioner Bert Aronson would like to see all strip malls do the same thing. He's looking into creating a proposal that would require shopping centers to have mandatory round-the-clock security guards. Concerned residents sparked the idea.
They don't go out to shop anymore in the evenings because they're afraid. Well, I would like them not to be afraid, and I'd like to have all these retail establishments do more business.
But store owners at some local shopping centers don't like the idea of being forced to have security guards. They say it could create a financial burden, especially for smaller businesses.
I think in some ways I may have some financial concerns if we were forced to have the security people coming in.
Aronson says he doesn't want to put anyone out of business. He just wants to make business better and safer for everyone. Meanwhile, store owners who are already taking their own measures say it's part of the reality of doing business these days.
Let's face it, it's a war, and it's starting to change.
So far, Commissioner Bert Aronson has not penned an actual proposal on the mandatory security guards. But for those of you who are going to the malls and the shopping centers, police say, of course, it is always a good idea to be well aware of what's going on around you.
Well, let's get those phones ringing, folks. 1-800-345-WPTV, and we take credit cards this year, so that's another way you can contribute to the cause here. Another way you can help is to report what you see. Sometimes you might not even know if a little detail can actually help solve a crime. That's why we want you to check out this Crime Stoppers reenactment about a murder in a townhouse. Police believe the murder took place on Labor Day weekend last month. It started off with a late-night swim for the victim, 33-year-old Mark Williams. After he finished swimming, he walked back to his townhouse at 2641 West Gately Drive, entering his condominium through the back glass sliding door. He then walked upstairs to his bedroom. Meanwhile, outside, investigators believe someone was stalking the victim. A suspect with a gun was waiting for him. The suspect managed to slip into the townhouse through the same doors the victim walked through moments before. They had been left unlocked. Police believe the suspect walked up the stairs and confronted the victim at the top. The victim was shot dead from several gunshots fired at close range. Police are still working on their investigation in this case and tracking down clues, one of which, a black Volkswagen Scirocco was seen with a white male driver loitering in this area where the murder occurred, and police are calling that suspicious.
I'm Detective Richard Carl from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. If you have any information in reference to the Mark Williams homicide or any other crime in Palm Beach County, call Crime Stoppers.
It seems just about every day there's a story about a murder or a violent killing. It's a tale we hear all too often. But what we don't hear about are the other victims, the families of the murder victims. Tonight, News Channel 5's Matt Sesney shows you what's being done to help those whose lives have been scarred by these crimes.
The images of murder are too familiar. They're there every night on the news. Scenes of police cars, body bags, and horror stories from witnesses. But behind the images, there are families thrown into despair.
Why? Who did it? Why did it happen? Just every day it starts all over again. The anger starts every day.
And that anger that
David Kaiser has had the anger ever since his daughter was killed in July. David and his wife, Linda, are part of this support group for the families of murder victims. Run by Palm Beach County's Victim Services, the group brings together families who have lost a son or a daughter or a spouse.
That someone else other than God made the choice to take our children or our boyfriend or our sons, it just doesn't make sense to us.
Janie Coburn's son was killed last June.
There aren't any rules. There wasn't a rule book for this one. Nobody said to me, when I prayed for 2 years to get pregnant, nobody said to me that you're going to lose him at 19, that you're never going to see your first, you're never going to see this, you're never going to see that, you're never going to do this, you're never going to do that. Nobody said that to me, and I'm not sure how to let go of it.
In a society where so much of the attention is focused on the murder victim and the person who committed the crime, the families of murder victims are often cast aside, left alone to grieve and live with their nightmare.
This is a place where everybody understands you cannot talk about this enough.
How you feel, Darcy, sometimes like people are staring at you. They were going to wonder if I was going to have a nervous breakdown or if I was going to lose it.
They understand what I'm saying. When I say no, you know, I never heard no closure before. That was like a relief for me because I thought I was the only one feeling all these things.
People do recover, but do they forget the experience? No, they do not forget the experience, nor would they ever tell you, I'm sure, that they want to forget that experience. They would like to erase the fact that it ever happened, but to forget about it means letting go.
A violent death is something most people never forget, but this group can take comfort in knowing they're not alone or forgotten. In West Palm Beach, Matt Cesney, News Channel 5.
Now, folks, the number to call in the studio to help us in this Crime Stoppers effort is 1-800-345-WPTV. It is almost 10 till 8. Let's check the tote board now and see how we're doing in this effort here at Crime Stoppers. We have $17,803. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for your efforts so far in our telethon tonight. $17,803. We still have about 10 minutes to go, folks, so call that number on your screen, 1-800-345-WPTV. And up next on Fighting Back Together, we'll have a look at a disturbing trend, mothers who kill. But first, check out this wanted suspect.
Although alarm systems are often an effective deterrent to intruders, response time can range from 4 to 20 minutes, and in most cases, this is too long. Wilson Rowan can prevent breaking and entering with our complete line of high-security hardware. Let Wilson Rowan install a safe in your home or office for the ultimate protection of your valuables. Call Wilson Rowan Locksmith Company at 655-3637. Wilson Rowan, keeping the Palm Beaches safe since 1919.
The new Chevy Blazer gives you this elegant interior, exceptional quiet, and 3 power ports to plug in electronic equipment.
This is Lynn. Leave a message at the tone and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Isn't it nice to know all that's there, even if you're not?
Campbell's Fiesta soups, like new Fiesta tomato, make it easy to bring a zesty, delicious taste of Mexico right to your table.
What's in these tacos?
Campbell's.
See, Mom, I drew a giant dinosaur.
Whoa, he's scary.
Magnadoodle stencils and color shapes let kids make picture-perfect drawings every time.
Is that a palm tree?
Uh-huh. He's in Florida. Magnadoodle.
According to the latest U.S. government figures, the chances of a criminal victimizing you or someone in your household are 1 in 4. Don't wait till it's too late. Call 1-800-SMART-20 now, and we'll install our basic security system in your home for only $95. And we'll provide 36 months of monitoring for only $24.95 a month, less than $1 a day. That's 1-800-SMART-20, because you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
And welcome back tonight to Fighting Back Together, a Crime Stoppers special program. The number here in our studio is 1-800-345-WPTV. We're on a few more minutes here till 8 o'clock, so please join us in our efforts to raise money to support the Crime Stoppers program. Now, over the past 6 months or so, we've been hearing a lot about crimes, especially heinous crimes, parents and other adults accused of abusing and even killing young children and babies. So how can authorities tell if a child dies from abuse or an accident? Tonight, News Channel 5's Bina Honda shows you how a child abuse task force is trying to make the very tough call.
To a large extent, you know, a dead child is sort of like an arson. You never know if it was an electrical fire, if it was a bolt of lightning, an act of God.
State Attorney Barry Krischer doesn't want this cloud of doubt to surround the death of any child. So he's formed a child abuse task force with a campaign focusing specifically on the prevention of shaken baby syndrome, the presumed cause of death for 8-month-old Charlie Mejia. Krischer wants to raise public awareness and detect any suspicious cases. So how does the task force work, and what is the team looking for? It starts with trained law enforcement along with emergency response teams noting physical warning signs and comments about the accident. By law, most child death cases are then sent to the medical examiner. At the same time, psychologists and social workers get extensive interviews with family and friends. If there are any inconsistencies, a criminal investigation begins.
What our job is, or the medical examiner's job is, to find out what the explanation is for the injury or the death, compare it with the child after you do the autopsy, and see if they match.
What are we looking for? We're looking for red flags. You know, are the stories consistent with the injury? Is the story changing constantly? Is there other kinds of stressors on the family? And we look at all that. to determine, was this abuse or was it an accident?
In the case of Charlie Mejia, the evidence of brain damage and the changing statements made by his mother ended up in charges of murder. In West Palm Beach, Bina Honda, News Channel 5.
And we are very happy to have with us tonight State Attorney Barry Krischer. Now, Mr. Krischer, we know that it's obviously very sad that we even have to have such a child abuse task force. But why is it there is a need for it? Why have we been having so many horrible cases recently that do involve child abuse?
Well, the reason we put together the task force was because shaken baby is one particular form of abuse that can be avoided by education. And we've been trying to get out into the schools where children that are having children, and for the children that babysit, and then obviously out into the community to tell the adults that children do break and you're not supposed to shake them.
And the idea of why it is that we've had so many cases, a lot of people keep wondering, why does it seem to be getting worse and worse?
I couldn't hazard a guess as to why, but clearly in each of those instances there were neighbors and friends that knew or thought they knew and never bothered to call and report. And I think what we're doing here tonight is along the same lines, where society can't sit back and rely on law enforcement to do the job totally for them. They have to get involved, and joining this effort here tonight is that type of an example.
Now, of course, there are pros and cons for neighbors who hear things and aren't sure whether or not to report. What are the pros and cons for someone out there who may think they've heard something abusive in another neighbor's home?
Well, what we found in one of those cases was about 1 o'clock in the morning, consistently, there were screams and cries heard from the house. Now, that could be a child getting a shampoo, but that wouldn't be at 1 o'clock in the morning 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row. So I think the adults out there have to use their common sense, and if there's consistent cries coming from a house, consistently at the same time and at a strange hour, such as 1 or 2 in the morning, they need to make the call.
What about people, though, who are worried that the neighbor's children will be taken away or that they're going to falsely accuse them?
Well, one, the phone call to the HRS hotline is anonymous. Nobody knows that the call was made, and HRS responds in 24 hours and attempts to verify or just prove the allegation.
All right, thank you very much, State Attorney Barry Krischer. We appreciate you coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Well, you can still support Crime Stoppers by calling in now, so don't forget to call that number. It's 1-800-345-WPTV.
Remember, you can do it by credit cards, whatever. We're taking credit cards tonight. Let's check our tote board and see how we did tonight. We only have a couple more minutes left in our entire telethon tonight. We're at $20,744. Thank you so much, Palm Beach County, the Treasure Coast, South Florida, for supporting us in our effort tonight. Of course, it's time for you now to make a difference, to meet your neighbors, keep an eye on each other. Make sure that you watch here on the 6 o'clock report on Wednesdays, and you can see our Crime Stoppers reenactments, and that way you can call in and help us stop crime. Tina?
Well, we do have a few minutes left here. You can still support Crime Stoppers by calling in right now. And as we mentioned, you can use your credit card. Crime Stoppers does take Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. It's like the home shopping network here. Or if you prefer, you can mail in your checks to Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County at Post Office Box 6245, West Palm Beach 33405. And don't forget, every little bit helps, even if it's just a few dollars.
It certainly does. Thank you, South Florida, for helping us tonight. $20,744. Fighting back against crime. It works if you make the time, or take the time rather, to make a difference. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For Tina Conti, I'm Laurel Sauer. We will see you Wednesday nights on Crime Stoppers reenactments and on News Channel 5. Good night, everybody.
Fighting Back Together, a Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers telethon, was brought to you by Aluminum Roll-Up Shades and Shutters. Don't settle for less. And by Wilson Rowan Locksmith Company, serving the Palm Beaches since 1919. And by Westinghouse Security Systems. You can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Here are the Florida Lottery Cash 3 and Play 4 games for March 18th, 1995. All drawings supervised by Lottery Security and certified by Lovelace Roby & Company, Moore Stevens International. It's time for Cash 3. The first digit is 2. The second digit is 6. And the third digit is 4. The Florida Lottery and Universal Studios Florida are teaming up for the Lotomobile 2 giveaway. You could win one of 25 Jeep Cherokees or one of 25 Jeep Grand Cherokees. It's time to play for. Grace Ladd selects the first digit, 4. The second digit is 8. The third digit is 4, and the last digit is 3. So tonight's cash 3 number 264, the play 4 number 4843. Don't forget tonight's Florida Lotto jackpot worth an estimated $8 million. Good night and good luck, Florida.
First warning, exclusively on News Channel 5.
Rooms to Go had some February ads.
I know. I never saw so much interest in no interest.
No interest financing, that is.
Everybody loved it. And good news, for their 4th birthday, Rooms to Go is bringing it back.
But just for a short time, so buy now, put no money down.
Don't pay till next year.
And pay no interest if fully paid by January '96.
Rooms to Go actually pays the interest for you.
Interesting, or should I say not interesting?
Mary, just say Rooms to Go.
Rooms to Go.
Still busy, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll remember to let the dog in.
Maybe, but I'll try again.
Come on, the movie's starting.
And you think she'll remember?
She's gotten a lot more responsible.
Right, and she'd never.
No, she'd never leave the dog out tonight. Come on.
Okay.
Why be frustrated by a busy signal or miss an important call? With Southern Bell's call waiting, every call gets through, so no one gets left out in the cold.
So act now and get free connection. At Southern Bell, actions speak.
When you think consumer protection, think News Channel 5, because nothing beats
After
experience.
doing some investigating, we found this.
Difficulties with your car dealership? Contact 5 is there.
I'm sorry I had to get to this.
Problems with your apartment complex? Contact 5 is there.
It's mine, and it was stolen.
Feeling cheated out of money? Contact 5 is
I've
there.
given up hope. That's why I came to you.
For over 18 years, there's been only one. Contact 5. News Channel 5. You can be part of the first annual Fish to Fight Leukemia Tournament. Fish to win more than $50,000 in cash and prizes, including a brand new Toyota Tacoma. You can pick up an application at your local Toyota Super dealership or your area tackle stores. Tournament dates are April 29th and 30th. Call this number for more information. Proceeds benefit the Leukemia Society of America.
You're watching NBC.
Oh, Dr. Douglas. Dr. Douglas, guess what happened to me?
You got knocked up?
No.
Too bad. Could have given me a great deal on a C-section.
Anyway, I was just at the dry cleaners giving him hell about melting my buttons and stripping my zippers. When this fella behind me says, "Excuse me, miss, but could you sound as authoritative yet folksy with a microphone stuck in your face?" Next thing I know, he asked me to audition for a TV commercial.
No kidding.
He thought my voice would be perfect for this little cartoon owl named Reason who gives kids good advice.
You would be the voice of reason?
Nuh-uh. Then talk about your typecasting. I love telling people what to do, and listen to this. Hooty hoot!
Uncanny. If I was a mouse, I'd soil myself.
Life goes on, and so do we. Just how we do it is no mystery. One by one, we fill the days. We find 1,000 different ways. Sometimes the answer can be hard to find. That's something I will never be. I'm always here for anything you need. Rain or shine, I'll be the one to share it all as life goes on. We share it all as life goes on.
Empty Nest, sponsored in part by Oil of Olay Bath Bar. Different from soap, it actually holds moisture in.
My skin has never felt this soft. Forget bath bars. Body lotion? I don't bother. Now, I just use Oil of Olay 2-in-1 moisturizing body wash with a soft Olay puff and a moisturizing lather. Much more caring than beauty bars. My skin absorbs the special Olay moisturizers. You can't believe how much softer it feels.
Introducing Oil of Olay 2-in-1 Moisturizing Body Wash. For moisturized skin no bath bar can touch.
Bath bars? Body lotion? I'll never go back.
Delicious.
Oh, how you long for that luscious cheesecake. What you don't know is that it's made with new Philly Free.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The fat-free cream cheese without the guilt, but all that Philly taste.
Can you believe this is really free? Really free?
Hi.
Hi. Excuse me.
Introducing Philly Free. Now you can have it all.
Today's the day. It's spring. Time to get up and get going. Your Toyota dealer wants to put you in the all-new powerful Celica convertible. A low Celica lease is just the ticket to make your day. It's as beautiful to look at as it is to drive. So take advantage of the best time of year. Check out the Toyota Supra. There's nothing like it. It's Toyota's Today's the Day sales event. So what are you waiting for?
Tuesday. What? Tuesday, another night of must-see TV on NBC.
Yes! I got in!
On an all-new Wings.
Smile!
Are Brian's naughty pitches overdeveloped?
Hello!
Then the premiere of News Radio with Phil Hartman.
You have to set up a special smoking area.
People magazine calls it TV's funniest new series.
Yeah, this will work out just fine. This is very pleasant, thank you.
Followed by an all-new Frasier and the premiere of Pride and Joy. All-new comedy NBC Tuesday.
Hi, Daddy. Did you have a nice walk?
Walk? We hurdled hedges for 2 blocks. So, drivers, what did we learn today? Huh? With a poodle, we can be a badass. With a pit bull, we run like little girls, you know?
My poor pooped papa.
Oh, nice. Smiley face cookies.
No. These are from my boss. Mr. Braxton's been in such a foul mood lately. I thought I'd cheer him up with a home-baked goodie.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, dear.
Sweet? Hell, it's calculated. Oh, that's him now. We're carpooling today. Come with me, Daddy. I need your help. Come on. Oh, I forgot my purse.
Well, fine. I'll let him in.
Thanks. Here.
Go.
Okay. And, Daddy, try to cheer him up, okay? Entertain him.
Wait. What do you want me to do? A magic trick?
No, better not. I tried that yesterday. He broke my wand.
Hi, Mr. Braxton.
Hi.
Oh, what's new?
War, famine, flesh-eating viruses. But that's the world we live in.
Smiley face cookie?
I hate cookies.
Who doesn't? The Dolphins.
Yeah. Should be a hell of a game tonight, the way Marino's been throwing the ball.
Yeah, now if we can just find somebody to catch it.
Good one.
Huh?
Yeah, I got an extra ticket. I was going to take my buddy Art, but he just moved away. Guess I should call him my ex-buddy Art.
You mean he's not your friend anymore?
He moved to Brazil with all my money. So, you want to go to the game?
Well, yeah, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Braxton.
That's no big deal. And it's Ben. Call me Ben. Dr. Weston.
You know, Harry.
Harry. Yeah, you know, you look like a Harry. Now, Art, you look more like a Phil.
So sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Braxton.
Oh, that's okay, Carol. I was just talking sports with your dad. Say, that's a nice outfit.
Really? Oh, well, thanks for noticing. Oh, wait a minute, sir. I made you a special treat. Smiley face cookies.
No,
Carol.
That's okay, Harry. You know, now that I think about it, I don't hate cookies. I hate art.
Thank God. I almost painted him a landscape.
Here we are, Harry. Row ZZY. Seats 903 and 904.
Oh, that was some height. Oh, boy. This is good. Oh, look. Whoa, man, we're up high.
Yeah. My ex-buddy Art swears he saw the blimp pilot come flying by with his pinky up the old schnozola. I don't know. Those blimp jocks are total pros.
Hi, how you doing?
Where's Art?
Forget Art. This is my new pal, Harry. Harry Lloyd.
Aren't you chilly?
Hey, you're right.
Hey, Harry, you ready for a beer?
Yeah, fine, sure. Oh, yeah, no, here, let me get it.
Really? Hey, my new pal Harry is springing for beer.
Oh, his beer.
Yep, 2 beers. You know, not once in all those years did my ex-buddy Art ever buy me a beer.
Art bought me beer all the time.
Here you go, pal.
Thanks.
Hey, Lloyd, you're on TV. Harry.
What?
Art always started the wave.
Good morning, Maxine.
Hey, Harry. What do you think?
I didn't know Laverne was Jewish.
It was the only star the Floors had. Harry, Laverne aced the audition. She got the part in that commercial. Isn't that great?
I'm verklempt.
Morning, y'all.
Oh, there she is, Harry. Our own little star.
Oh, come on, Doctor. Now you're embarrassing me. Oh, and aren't you thoughtful? But for future reference, I am a Methodist.
Well, congratulations, dear. We're very proud of you.
Well, thank you, Doctor, but I couldn't have made it this far without Dr. Douglas. This woman is a natural-born director.
I was just working with the clay God gave me. You're beautiful, babe.
Back at you.
Show people. Charlie, what are you doing here?
I might ask you the same thing.
I work here.
So you remember where you work, but you can't remember that we were